What they will do,
They're not supposed to happen. That's
exactly,
spiritual instruction. When you
exactly.
come to down in your right and you put right side down.
John 7:16.
What John 7:16?
So,
I didn't buy it. The other man I thought, but I had buy those men. I had buy it.
John 7 and 16.
It's John chapter 7:16.
It says, Yahushai answered them and said, My doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me, which is Yahweh.
just becoming the stead of Yahushua HaMashiach, who the world ignorant called Jesus Christ. You understand? And we be followers of it. Our doctrine is not ours. The doctrine is who? The Heavenly Father Yahweh. You understand? Right? So some formers giving all praises and glory to Yahweh.
Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach Kodash.
Double honors to our elders, the apostles of great wisdom, actually doing well. As citation, teach and everyone at the Akim that pushes gospel out there in sincerity and truth, right? It's part of GMS and main camp coming out here to do the will of the Most High Hashem Yahushai, alright? Main camp Trinidad, that is. Yeah, alright? So, you know, basically prophesying and edifying the lordship of the house of Israel. Remember, Psalms 42 and verse 7, the book of Psalms. Book of Psalms 40 and 11. Verse 7. Oh. 40 and 7. Right. This is Psalms chapter 40 and verse 7. It says, Then said I, Lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me. And behold, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me. Written on who? Yahushai. Who the world ignorant called Jesus Christ unto this day. Alright, go ahead. Verse 8 it says, I delight. Go ahead.
I am delighted to do his will. Verse 8.
I delight to do his will, thy will, O my power. Yea, the law is within my heart. The law is within thy heart. Because every time the Most High rises up a prophet is to turn the children of Israel back to the laws, to the statutes and the commandments. Remember Jeremiah 3 and verse 15. Continue. It says, I have preached the righteousness in the great congregation. I have preached righteousness in the great congregation. Righteousness goes back to the Hebrew word, right, which will be the atazadak, which means the justice of the Lord. When you go to the law, you always say law and justice goes hands in hand. Alright?
That's right.
So read over that part. It says, verse 9, I have preached righteousness in the great congregation. Yeah, we have preached righteousness in the great congregation. Who is the great congregation? The great congregation is you Negroes, Latinos, and natives. The 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Right. You understand? The Psalms 22, right? And this is where we have to glorify the name Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Alright? When people talking about Jehovah and Yahweh and Allah and Selassie, all these pagan gods. But when you do your research, you will say the name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. Even going back into the dictionary, me and the brother went into in the library. They tell you that the name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. Right. Alright? Well,
22.
Psalms 22 and 22. It says, save me from the lion's mouth. From the lion's mouth. For thou.
Psalm 22, don't say that. I will declare thy name unto my brethren in the midst of the congregation. I will praise thee.
Yeah.
Psalm 22.
I don't know. Go ahead.
I read in my Bible.
Done. It says Psalms 22 and 22. It says, I will declare thy name unto thy brethren. In the midst of the congregation will I praise thee. Right, I will declare thy name unto the brethren. Meaning, really actually that brethren is the elect of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Right? So we will declare that name. That's why the brother said earlier, we out here for the elect of the house of Israel in that great congregation. Right? Which going to be that 144,000 and the 1/3 of the house of Israel. The Negroes, Latinos, and natives, which salvation is for. You understand? So we come out here for the elect's sake to preach that beautiful word. Remember, Isaiah 52 and verse 7. Babu Kusha. That's what we do. Go ahead.
This is Isaiah 52 and verse 7. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings.
Good tidings, which goes back to the gospel. And the gospel is for the meek. And the meek are the ones who go into the tribulation. Right? Those vendors, as the brother was saying, those people who sit in low places always have to pay tax. They don't always have food up on the table. You understand? But what they do, they seek the Most High, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.
That's
they
right.
don't seek the governments of the world. They don't seek to say, well, here what? I'll go to Rowley for my problems. I'll go to Kamla for my problems. I'll go to the World Health Organization or the CDC for my problems. But I will go to the God who created heaven and earth. You understand? And they will proclaim peace. They will proclaim peace to Jerusalem. Jerusalem, which means the city of peace, Yerushalayim, which is a people before it was a place.
Done.
Alright?
That's a small book. This is the book of Proverbs 18 and 10. The name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, is a strong tower.
Well,
the righteous runneth into it and is safe.
The righteous run into it and are safe. Who will be the righteous? Where is that? That Hebrews 11. Abraham believed. See if I could get that real quick. Abraham believed and it was counted on him for righteousness. Alright? Will be what? The ones who believe in the name of Yahweh Yahushai. Believe that he is righteous, he is just and he is true in everything that he say and he do. Hebrews 11, I cannot remember the exact verse. Alright?
We're dealing with Abraham.
Abraham. He believed and it's counted on him as righteousness. Alright? Because he
8,
believed
Hebrews
what?
11:8.
Thank you.
By faith, Abraham, who he was called out of the place which he should after receive for an inheritance, changed and came out of the
It's counted on him as righteousness.
I think that's in the Apocrypha.
Also in the Apocrypha, but it's also in Hebrews 11. Hebrews 11 verse 8. But it says, by faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into the place which he should after receive. And what is the place that he was called out of? He was called out at at the Chaldeans, right? Which is by the southeastern plain there of the Euphrates River, or that area what they call Mesopotamia, right? The Lord called him out of there, and he called him out of his father's house because his father used to worship idols. Alright? Well, right, it says by faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into the place which he should after receive an inheritance, obeyed, and when he went out, not knowing whither he went. Yeah, that's why the Lord said, I believe at Genesis 17, alright, he said, walk before me and be thou perfect. Alright? The Lord said, well, walk in front of me and you'll be perfect. I will show you the way in which you may go. You understand? The Most High called Abraham out of all the families of the earth. Alright? And you people back in other nations are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob. You know, it is Psalm 60, Isaiah 61. Where are
This is was anointed, appointed to talk the word of the gospel. Isaiah 61 from verse 1. One is quoted in Genesis 17:1. But shows, and when Abraham was 99 and 9, the Lord appeared to Abraham and said unto him, what he called
God. This is 1 Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 49. It says, now when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said unto his sons, now had pride and rebuked gotten strength, and the time of destruction and wrath of indignation. It says, now therefore, my sons, be zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time, so shall ye receive great honor and everlasting name. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness?
Yes. In what? In temptation. You understand? He was tempted, he was tried. Right? Because you have to leave your own homeland and come into a land of strangers. Alright? And dwell amongst them. All kind of things go on with it. Right? Because you have to leave where the Chaldeans and come and dwell with the Canaanites. And when you go into the history of the Canaanites, the wickedness that they've done, when you read Leviticus 18, they tell you about kind of sexual immoral sins they used to commit, right? And other sins when they read Leviticus. That's why he said, don't be told the Israelites, don't do like unto what these nations do, because of these sins I abhor them. Talk about the iniquity of the Amorites, alright? But for Abraham to dwell in a land, right? He don't have no king, whatever the case is, alright? But to dwell in that land among strangers, who wants to take an advantage? They take your wife on. Because guess what? There is problems he used to go through. He said when that time was in Egypt though, he said he told Sarah that tell your sister, because they will kill me. Look how beautiful you are, you 90 something and you're sweet. You understand?
Very amazing.
Yes, I read the Bible every day. Same thing I hear with Bible, I just don't read and fix them. But you ain't sure that I am man, she's up there, but I scripture a day. And all the money they make. But I hear things at all the Bible and open.
Alright, cool, but still, you know, the scripture says that a woman supposed to hold your peace while in the congregation at the side. Understand the see, right? But still, it's supposed that a woman keep in silence. You know, if you say about husband, especially you know how there's an order. There's a matter of fact, back up first Timothy 2.
First Timothy chapter 2, you go and bring the scripture from it. And then to be silent in the church. I love preaching.
Well, you see? So then, okay, so since you know if I read it.
I know that's what I'm going to bring from my first Timothy chapter 2.
You're correct. So it's under the order, but you see the thing about it is the zeal that you will have, the fact that these Christians, especially these Christian churches, they say they quote certain things that wasn't in the scripture. So
no, a man from a day, but remember, he was visiting the church, right? And I will listen if you would have put. But they quote it in the Bible, so when I check now and I open and that goes in there,
right.
So I know it's wrong.
Right.
Because you have your Bible in your hand, but it's still in Bible. When I phone when the book is set virtually, it's not going to be a scripture.
Right. You see, and as I thing, Acts 17:4, right? For these wiser than men of Corinth, men of Berea were wiser than men of Corinth, right? So it's scripture, so two fasting that which is good. So that's a very good thing that, you know, I would say that you do.
No, it doesn't. Look at that. After the church, 17:4. Acts 17:4.
Acts 17 and 11. These were more noble than those in Thessalonica. In that they received the word with all readiness of mind and searched the scriptures daily.
Right? So that's something important, because what most people do is they go to church and they just sit down, they're going to ask questions, they're going to go and they're going to read, they're going to do no kind of research, right? But the pastor says, render your heart under your hand. I know it's right. Children going to live children, I know it's right. You understand? I can't feel that so close like the Holy Trinity. I know in the Bible. Right? But these are things that they will teach. Colossians 2 and 8. Right? It says, I will read it. Colossians 2.
And that is why too, with the pastors are to stuck the word of the Lord under the arm and spit out commandments of men.
That's right.
You understand?
Colossians 2:8. What says beware?
It says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Mashiach. You understand? So philosophy is the doctrine.
So Mashiach is what it says, Christ.
It's Christ, right? That's
Hebrew.
Anointed one.
right. That's
Hamashiach means
You
anointed.
mean anointed one? Because I may have Shai.
Yahushua is his name. Mashiach is his name.
That means the
That
anointed
title,
one.
yes. Right? The anointed. Right? Because back in the ancient days and all that, the priest, the king, and a prophet is to be anointed. To you know. Right?
This is 2 Timothy 2 and verse 15.
2 Timothy,
2 and 15.
chapter 2.
Yeah, chapter 2 and verse 15. It says, study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. But shun profane and vain babbling, for they will increase unto more ungodliness.
Go on and die. Come back and go to the car.
No problem, no problem.
No, I drive to Italian. And no matter the person until he done preaching in faith.
Just hey, like Japa, that's Japa.
Tell me that.
No, because when people stand up, and I just, if you talk, I just answer whoever you say. Well, I know I'm really
Right, so the scripture say, it says, study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Right, so rightly dividing the word of truth, go into words, right? This is break down the scripture in the proper context. You see? And that what the brother was saying earlier. You know? It says, but shun profane vain babbling, for they will increase unto more ungodliness, right? And that basically like with the pastors do, right? They're going to have a lot of babbling, right? Speaking about things that they know not, right? And that is why we as men alone come up against them, because they're breaking down the scriptures. You see, this is that scripture I was going to bring before. Right, when the brother was talking about this word was given unto the nation of Israel. Right, this is the book of Acts, chapter 2 and verse 21. It says, and it shall come to pass that whosoever, right here that word whosoever, right, and let us go get twisted with that whosoever word, right? It says, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh shall be saved. Ye men of Israel, hear these words. Right? So that's what the scripture says. The scripture says, ye men of Israel, hear these words. This word wasn't given to the entire world. Right? The entire masses. It was given unto the nation of Israel. The Lord's people. Right?
This is the book of John 3 and verse 16. For Yahweh so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life.
Right? And they say that for God so loved the world, right? That he gave his only begotten Son. Right? And when they go into that word worldly, so we go into it, right? Because a lot of people like to quote it John 3:16 and don't have the proper understanding, right? Like this Christian famous line, famous scripture, right? But I never read John 14. This is John chapter 3 and verse 16. Right? It says, for God so loved the world. But right? When you go into the word world, it goes back to the Greek word cosmos. Right? The Greek word cosmos, we speak about a certain second show. It says, an apt and harmonious arrangement, the constitution, order, government, ornament and decoration, adornment, arrangement of stars, and who the Lord called stars, right? Arrangement of stars. This is speaking about a nation, a sect of people.
Or if I may say, the scripture also talk about the stars of heaven. It was actually talking about the Israelites. You understand?
Is Exodus. Okay?
This is Hebrews 1 and verse 2. Had in these days, Yahweh, who at sundry times and in diverse manners, spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets.
By the prophets. So the Lord spoke to his people by the way of the prophets. Right? So the Lord ain't going and come to you personally and give you no word. Because a lot of women like to say, the Lord spoke to me. And the Lord tell me this. The Lord speaking to you through his men. Through the prophets. Right? Through the, as the brother said, they are the anointed. Right? The Lord going to put that spirit on men. Right? With that is Revelation chapter 2. When we speak about yeah. 21.
This is Revelation, the book of Revelation 21 and verse 3.
Good.
It says, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh is with men.
Yeah, the tabernacle of the Heavenly Father is with men. Right? When we're talking about men and women, speaking about man. I can get that one in Ezekiel.
This is Ezekiel 34 and verse 31. It says, Ezekiel 34 verse 31, I'll start at verse 30. It says, thus shall they know that I, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, is their power, and with them, and they, even also of Israel are my people, said the Lord power. And ye my flock, the flock of my pasture are men.
Flock of his pasture are men. Right? And he says Israel is his people. Right? So that is what we're going into right now. So the Lord is dealing with these women, these so-called prophetess, right? Yes, the Lord had women who used to have visions. What he used to do is to present it unto the husband. Because that is the order. Exactly. Right? Go ahead.
Hebrews 1 and verse 2. And in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he had appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the world.
By what?
By whom also he made the world.
Made the worlds, right? So in John 3:16, that world was speaking about, it goes back to the Greek word cosmos. That was speaking about what? Arrangement of people. Harmonious arrangement. Right? And that was speaking about the Lord's chosen people, which is the nation of Israel.
That's
which
right.
are you Negroes, Latinos, and you native people. Right? So that God so loved the world wasn't speaking about the Lord loved the Chinese, right? Or the Lord loved the Africans, right? Or the Lord loved all the so-called white man.
God,
The Lord ain't dealing with that. The Lord ain't come to save everybody.
God, Moses is a racist.
The Lord is a racist. That he died the first racist.
God.
Right? And being a racist is not something bad. It's just preferring your race above any other.
God.
You
Because when so many scriptures, the Most High saying is the Redeemer of Israel, right? When you're going to the word Redeemer, right? In the Hebrew, it actually goes back to the kindred, right? Amos chapter 3 and verse 1 says that the Most High out of all the families of the earth, he only know the children of Israel.
Yeah.
This is real quick, Exodus 4:22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus said Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. Right? So the Most High is saying that, guess what? You, matter of fact, let me point this way, you naughty royal head Negroes, you hard-headed so-called Africans, alright? You so-called Caribs, Iraqs, Incas, right? Trinidadians who have Afro-Trini descent, you Vincentians are Afro-Vinci descent. You people, the Most High is saying that, guess what? You hard-headed niggas is my sons. You understand? That's why he said in Isaiah 1 and verse what? 3 and 4 going from there, he said that what? The ox knoweth his owner and the ass his master's script, but Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider. Right? The Most High saying you people are his children.
That's right.
And you people want to be rebellious and stubborn, calling yourself an African, calling yourself a Douglas, Trinidadian. Right? Most High saying, yeah, you people are princes, you people are royalty. But you know what? You want to sit down and you want to be the least, making these other people money, fattening their bank account. The Most High saying, return unto me. Right there.
This is Isaiah 14 and verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
On who?
Jacob.
Most High will have mercy on Jacob. Jacob is the father of the Negroes, Latinos, and natives. Right?
And will yet choose Israel.
And will you choose who?
Israel.
Israel goes back to the Hebrew Yasharala, means what? The Prince of God. Right? Well,
And set them in their own land.
set them in their own land, which is there in the Middle East, where they call Palestine. Right? On the land of Israel. Right?
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
And the stranger there goes back to the 10 lost tribes. Right?
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Yeah, meaning what? They shall become one. Hosea chapter 1 and verse 11 and Ezekiel 37. Thou shalt take these two sticks and join them. Also in the book of Zechariah, when the beauties and bands. Alright, go ahead.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Alright, verse 2 it says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
Who's the people that we shall take them and bring them to the place? Them, the children of Israel, go ahead.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants.
The servants there goes back to these other nations, right? Elam, the so-called East Indians, the Africans, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Arabs, all right? Well,
And if I may say, right, now it's saying that the children of Israel will possess these other nations for servants. Now, if all people go and buy into salvation, then who will not be the servants? You understand? So it shows here that it makes no sense with you people saying that all people go and be saved.
but
Read it now, and it says, in the land of Yahweh for servants and for handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
and they shall take them captives, who captives they were. Salvation ain't for everybody. You people don't know how to read the scriptures. The scripture said in Isaiah 29 and verse 9 or 28, 9, that line shall be upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. Right? Also, in the book of Peter,
Phone break.
Family, you can't just walk away and not break my phone, dude.